All right. All right, family. We are live. Shout out to everybody in the chat. All right. Blue's getting his presentation together. All right. What's up with y'all? While Blue get that together, a quick update. Shout out to oh, give me a second, family. Yeah, we're gonna have a great show tonight. Dynamic presentation. Shout out to everybody who got tickets. To the Gathering of the Masters, the live stream. The tickets are unfortunately the tickets are sold out at the venue, but live stream tickets will be available this Friday. So I will have new information, new flyer, everything will be together this Friday. So for I advise everybody who wasn't able to get their ticket to make sure you get the live stream and don't miss this historic event. So once again, family, make sure y'all uh get that live stream popping on Friday. I don't want y'all to miss that as well because a lot of people are upset that they missed out on the opportunity to get tickets. So just want to let y'all know that. Besides that, want to welcome back to the platform my brother Blue Pill. What's going
Peace
on,
to the
Blue?
family. Peace to you and yours. It's
Indeed.
an honor to be here. Um, a lot has developed in envelope since we last spoke,
Yeah.
and you know, I'm gonna say it if nobody else is gonna say it. That was a magical presentation that we did last Wednesday that coincided with Ken and Friends demonstration in red and blue, and yeah, we saw a metaphorical changing of the guards,
Yeah.
and we saw a crowning of a king in the west, which is in line with the mythos because that's where the kings come. They arise in the west. The whole aspect or the mythos about Osar is the king in the west, in the farthest west, and that means from the west coast in the western hemisphere. And the fact that he was able to synergize, right, both lanes of conscious and gangster rap, and he synergistically put those two together on the dawn of the summer solstice, right? Aquarius Maximus says that if melanated people were an astrological sign, we would be Cancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he ushers in as a Gemini the beginning of Cancer out west, inaugurating this solar activation of the children of the sun who have said that they are not like us.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And who are they? Whoever is not children of the sun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And he put an emphasis with it being on the west
Right.
because when you see the tribes, you see the families, those are remnants of what was left over from the revolution. Those are children, bastards of the parties, what they call them, and they call them Panther Cubs. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the street organizations arose out of the vacuum that was created when they decimated those frontline, quote unquote, contingencies that had these people shaking in their boots. And we're going to get to that because that was the catalyst for them actually introducing certain products in our community to lower our frequency. And
Mm-hmm.
the ability to lower our frequency was an act of war, a biological warfare that they figured that they can activate on a cellular level, a biological level, rather than going head up with a giant.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They had to utilize the machine um, to even the score. So
Right.
when he
Right.
says that he's going to up the score and he's going against a symbol of the corporation, he's going against this particular, you know, this conglomeration of
Mm-hmm.
what it looks like for people who have not only stolen identities but are benefiting from entitlements and even using that in the wrong fashion, taking advantage of advantages. It's time to go, right? And I think that that's what we saw. It was a wonderful demonstration, and it coincided with everything that we were saying on the program that evening.
Mm-hmm.
So it was
Um,
another wonderful classical moment.
yeah, it was just
Now, real quick, I'm going to switch over to to my laptop so I could get a better I could tap into what you call it to my screen.
Uh,
All
all
right.
right. Yes, sir.
Give me 1 second.
All right, while Blue take care of that. What's good with y'all? All right. Oh, Blue, he back already. All right, he back already. All right, there you go.
Yes, indeed. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Um, I don't even got the glasses on today. You feel me? I definitely and it's 9/17. Salute to you, Virgos.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This one is special. It was a long time coming. We've been speaking about it for a minute. And as always, when I get called upon by you to do some research for a presentation, I end up finding out more than I even bargained for.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? And this is no exception.
mm-hmm.
This was a wonderful opportunity to deep dive and see ourselves, the synergy of the information that we speak about,
Mm-hmm.
where you don't got to throw nothing away, nothing is lost. It's
Mm-hmm.
utilizing any and all things to see ourselves in the mix and the mesh of it all. So it's going to be one of them ones. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely looking forward to it, Blue. Don't want to take up too much of your time, my brother, but this is something, family, that I personally I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna be like one of y'all. I'm taking notes. I'm gonna absorb it. Damn, Blue, man, just man, some amazing times we living in. Blue. I'm getting so much sun outside. Blue, Atlanta got. I mean, Georgia got so much sun out there these days. Blue, it's a
and
beautiful thing. I mean, wow, bro.
yeah,
It's heavenly.
and again,
Man,
not to waste any material, right? Because nothing that we speak about is ever going to deviate from the core topic. I put this lecture together outside in the sun, getting downloads, and the sun was like, "Thank you for
here
putting
you
things in
go.
perspective." It all ties back to the sun. You know what I'm saying? So this is in salutations to the sun. The sun is hitting different. We are direct recipients for a active sun. Is not that aggressive if you're ready for it. It's kind of very light. It's
Mhm,
extra lighting, and it's very light if you're ready for it. I
mhm.
see the way that it's pounding on others, and hopefully with our discourse and our discussion, we can help people see what they need to do to come into alignment with, and again, we identify the sun as a male entity or being, but we are in the season of Cancer, which is the mother, leading to the dog days of summer, which inaugurate the Helioc horizon of Sirius, which is the great mother. You feel me? So
Yep.
that
Mhm.
heat that we feeling, even though we identify it with the father and it's a masculine aspect and principle, the way that it starts moving things and making things activate and germinating things, what I'm saying? We want to make sure that you are properly soiled in your internal fortitude to make sure that you're making, you're going to get the best benefit out of these UV rays because it's given.
Indeed.
And I'm
Oh yeah.
looking at the produce that's coming out of the farms that we're working in. They're like
Oh,
super size. They're like
yeah.
mutant size. No pesticides,
Man.
no herbicides, none of that stuff. I'm talking about this stuff is coming up early and it is humongous. So
Wow.
I'll share some pics, but let's get into this.
Oh yeah. Let's go, family.
Okay.
Get comfortable.
Share screen.
And for the name of this is subtle energy body, family, the force that gives a Jedi his/her power. This subtle energy for body ain't no joke, y'all. Ain't no. Here we
Not at
go.
all. All right.
All right. Let me.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. We good?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right. So right off the break, we ain't gonna waste no time. We're gonna get right into the grand design of things. This is what a fully activated subtle energy body looks like, with you operating as a fulcrum for a toroid field that's going to come through the soles of your feet and the crown of your head, activating a multitude of chakras, what I'm saying, on different dimensionalities, because we're not relegated or resigned just to the seven chakra design of the physical body. Okay. but we got to start on one because everything has to start on one. So let's look exactly scientifically at what are we looking at. This is called a biofield, right? And we're going to break down the anatomy of a biofield so we could take it out of the realm of conjecture or, anything that's just mystical, right? You have everything emanates a vibratory force. And because of that vibratory force and the bands in which these vibratory force emit and resonate, there's different bands and there's different bodies. So we're going to do our best to identify it. This is with more so of a Western modality, first and foremost, on this page, because they're going to approach it with a logical, scientific explanation. All right. So the significance of energetic imbalances. So this is them looking at someone's auric field and seeing where they need to be treated at, right? When someone is dealing with biomeds or biomedicine or auric healing, they're going to look at your energy body first, understanding that things emanate from top to bottom. And if the physical body of flesh is the last emanation of the body, it's the one that's on the bottom, but it's connected to energy body or energy fields that come before it. So spiritual healers have a tendency to want to treat the quote unquote malady or dis-ease from top to bottom. So they have to go and look in your energy field to see where these particular disturbances occur at. Okay. So here you have a portrait of a figure with the chakra systems aligned, and you have the different bands of frequency that are connected to the particular body, right? And they're speaking about the imbalance of these chakra systems and what they all mean, because there's pluses and minuses, like it's two sides to every coin. Okay, so when your chakra is balanced and is given, there's certain attributes that we identify it as. When it's imbalanced, then there's certain things that we can identify as well. Okay. Uh, and of course, for those that don't know, let's go over the chakra systems as an initial introduction, just in case someone is listening and this may be their first time hearing this information. So think about the acronyms family, Roy G. Biv, right? The same way that they taught us to identify the color spectrum is the same way that you can utilize in your mind to memorize the color spectrum of the chakra body, right? The first band of light body. And that would be red for root chakra, O for the orange color, which is dealing with the sacral chakra, green for the heart chakra, okay, blue for the throat chakra, eye indigo for the ajna or the third eye or the first eye chakra, and then violet for the crown. All right, family. And of course, these particular concepts and words dealing with the etymology of the word chakra, dealing with wheels coming from Sanskrit. It's not a super duper ancient word. You know what I'm saying? They said they consider it in the modern text, given the fact that there's, things that come from Indus Kush that probably date back 70,000 years. So the word chakra is not one of those words that go back that far. Nonetheless, it has been utilized, to explain a system and a modality, an energy system that has been found and explained through various different systems that predate what we find in India as well. So the Eastern understanding or explanation of the subtle bodies, once again, it incorporates non-corporeal bodies. The reason why it's not entertained and taught the same way in the Western world is because the Western world only focuses on the temporal body. They don't have a space in their quote unquote understanding and reason or logic to explain something that they don't see or that they can't control, because again, that will relinquish the fact that they have control over the body, right? And they're in the business of domination and not dominion. When you have dominion and you're fully activated in your subtle energy body, your dominion comes from the fact that your outer body is having a body conversation or body language conversation with your outer environment, which you are connected and tethered to, as you exist in this pool or this body of plasma. Okay. So the subtle body comprising of the following: the supercausal body or the subtle ego, the feeling that we are separate from God, right? Now, this works in a multitude of ways, right? Because they could say that somebody that's fully turned on and turned up, almost like how Satan was. He was so wise that he was dumb, thinking that he can outwit the one. The ego can possibly go to one's head as well, right? You flame up, you like Dr. Manhattan out here, you like Homelander, and it could go to your head. You think that you might be the all powerful. The supercausal of the subtle energy, of the subtle ego, the causal body or the intellect, decision making process, and reasoning ability, right? The soul, which is the God within each of us, the mental body or the mind, the feelings, the emotions, and the desires, the vital body, the vital life sustaining energy of the body. This is where they said where you will have gaps in your aura and there's certain things that may be seeping out, right? Or the psychosomatic attacks on people's consciousness by way of events like, let's say, 9/11, the cracking of the cosmic egg. These are where these particular leaks take place. The physical body comprising of the five senses, i.e., touch, taste, sound, smell, and light. That's the gross body, right? That's the physical body. That is the densest layer of matter. That's the body that we incorporate. Now, we are dealing with the concept of identifying the outer bands of the body. You also have to entertain the idea that there are inner bands going within you of the inner light and the inner body that connect you to the outer bands of the outer body. Okay. And that's the dance that we are engaged and involved with. How can you go in to get out while dealing with the pressure outside that's pushing you within to go within? Right. And it's a beautiful dance. And this is actually what we call crystallization, or crystallizing your consciousness to become that ultimate crystal that you need to and want to become to achieve this concept of we call Christ consciousness. So they say, what happens to each body after death? The physical body remains on earth, the gross matter, this dense, right? Unless you are engaging in what's called transmutation or transfiguration, like they said the Prophet Muhammad did, or like they said the Enoch did, where they transcend in their physical body and ascend, right? I think Shiva as well. Unless you into that level of transformation and transmutation, your physical vessel remains here. Okay. The vital energy or the prana, that breath, that spirit is released back into the universe that combines, with the quote unquote oneness. That's eternal. That's the thing that never was and always is. Right. Now, the ones with the stars, they say these bodies comprise the subtle body. After the subtle body travels to a subtle plane of existence, such as quote unquote heaven, neither or hell, depending on the merits or sins of its spiritual level. So let's say in the weighing of the soul ceremony, these are the aspects of the body that would garner the weight of the soul or the weight of your decisions, right? These are the ones more than likely that they're saying to take the hit, that have to go particular places to either be rewarded or renewed, to be redistributed back into the pool. Let's look at the physical vessel, because all of this is contingent on what can you generate from your inner core in terms of energy, in terms of joules, where you can flame up this outer body to make it so outwardly expansive that you can physically change all things in your circumference, and there's no limits on your circumference once you're fully flamed up. That's the aspect of becoming that Christ consciousness, or that one. You can change and affect all things in your circumference once you're connected to all things in your circumference. 30,000 kilojoules for 24 hours, or about 300 watts for 24 hours, unless you are a super fit sportsman like Michael Phelps or Blue Pill, who can spend 9,000 kilocalories per day, or about 400 watts per 24 hours. Then you will spend more than 33,500 kilojoules per 24 hours. Most people spend about 10,000 kilojoules per day, or about 120 watts for 24 hours. So they're saying you only turned up
120 watts a day, where the maximum power that a human being could produce for a few seconds is 2,450 watts. So if I say that, the majority of the population is not living at even 10% of their true potential, did I say that? Or is that what the science is saying? And I'm just interpreting it in language that we understand, right? You have access to full potentiality to be totally turned up. And it has to be given any second, because the only thing that's present that exists is the now. So it don't matter if you were not able to have access or did not understand or even know any of this information your entire life prior to this. Your ability to make this observation and intertrain it into your consciousness means that you have instant access to it. Just get out of your way. The following formula gives the relationship between electrical energy and power, right? E equals PT, and P would be power in watts and time in seconds. So your energy is contingent upon how much power you can garner up in a second. Okay? And they say power equals how much energy, right, you can garner in a second. So your energy is contingent upon your power, and your power is contingent upon your energy. You feel me? And all of that is contingent upon your inner anatomy. So this is the brother Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton. Shout out to Dr. Bruce Lipton, who wrote a book called Biology of Belief that I highly recommend that the family go and gets, right? This is where the whole concept and term about epigenetics comes from. Okay?
Right.
The body's total voltage from 70 trillion volts down to a more accurate value of 3.5 trillion volts. So this is how he comes to his calculation and his measurement of available energy that we have in our vessels at any given moment. The calculation is based on the following. The average membrane potential for a cell is 70 million volts, or 0.07 volts. Okay? Said this is the electrical charge difference between the inside of the cell separated by the cell membrane from the charge just outside the cell membrane, right? So there's two charges going on. There's the, let's say, the nuclear reaction is taking place inside of the cell. And then there's the biofield outside of the cell that's emanating a force, just like you. You got a sun inside of your solar plexus that's generating heat, that's generating a force, that's generating magnetism. And then you have an outer band frequency, you have an auric field, you have a morphogenetic field, right? You have a quantum field that can go out as far as you can conceive to push it to the edges of the universe. Michael Jackson's music will travel. They said it, look, they showed a tribe that they found in the Amazon that had no physical contact with people, no technology access. They showed them pictures of certain people from around the world, and they all knew who Michael Jackson was, and they knew the music.
Wow.
So let's put that in perspective, right? The voltage power in the cells is actually more, because he said he did not include the fact that the cell's nucleus also has a membrane potential, which was not added to the cell's total potential. And there is something new and amazing. Using nanoscale voltmeters, biologists have now found it within a cell. Within a cell, all of the 13 regions of the cytoplasm we measured had high electric field strength, as high as 15 million volts per meter. A brain battery article on the brain also emphasizes the profoundly high voltages that neural cells can display. Clearly, then, the minimum voltage potential for a human body is greater than 3.5 trillion volts. While it's not the 70 trillion volts I mentioned in the lecture, it's still a mind-boggling potential power. So Bruce Lipton came back and corrected himself, right? Because I think that he made a misquote on the 70 trillion volts. But maybe that's access to a particular category of people. That's not, that's not everybody. But nonetheless, to make a comparison A third rail that they tell us to be aware of because it can electrocute us is only generating 600 volts.
Damn.
Energized at 600 volts DC, the third rail provides electrical power to the powertrain and ancillaries of subway cars. British class 442 third rail electric multiple unit in Battersea. The maximum permitted speed of these units is 100 miles per hour. You know that your thoughts go way further than that per second. You know what I'm saying? And they can't keep up. There's no comparison. But we don't get an opportunity to see ourselves. So we're mesmerized by things that we build outside of ourselves. Types of energy in the human body: chemical energy, storage form of energy, electrical energy for nerve impulses, heat energy, which is the product of metabolism energy to keep the body temperature at 37 degrees Celsius, right? Or 98.6 Fahrenheit. Mechanical energy, capacity to do metabolic work, muscles to be able to move, right? So that's mechanical energy, the stuff you're using in the gym. Heat energy, that's your solar plexus. Electric energy is the nerve impulses, the things that are operating your body 24/7, 360 that you're not in control of, right? And chemical energy, the storage form of energy, what's putting the energy in the cells and transmuting it and transporting it, right? Types of potential energy: a stretched rubber band. So we're pulling a rubber band apart. That elastic, that represents potential energy, right? That is what's represented at all time. The potentiality of a second represents that potential for elastic. You can stretch it to the further stretches as your mind can stretch it. It's available. It's there for you. A compressed spring, right? Think about a slinky. You closing it and you release it. Blam! Elastic potential energy. A boulder sitting at the top of a cliff, right? That's gravitational potential energy. It's being propelled by the force of rolling down. It's going to get faster. A roller coaster ready at the top of the track. Again, gravitational potential energy. A charged battery, that's chemical potential energy. A voltage source, that's electric potential energy per unit of charge. That's what we made from. The human body after eating, chemical potential energy, breaking it down. Gasoline to put in our car as fuel, that's chemical potential energy, right? They're breaking that chemical down and utilizing the potential energy represented to fuel the car. The future light and heat from the sun, nuclear potential energy, okay? And you have to be a nuclear reactor in order to process that. A dam, gravitational potential energy, right? Or as brother Akibalon says, we are, we operate with nuclear fusion to break down that particular energy or that information. Let's look at the brilliance of the body just so we can understand and we can convince ourselves and believe that you do have access to this power. What does it take to make new cells that work? Cells run at minus 25 millivolts, but it requires minus 50 millivolts to make new cells, right? So it requires twice as much energy to make a new cell. Just like if they say that you get a customer, keep a customer, because it takes twice as much energy to gain a new customer, okay? We need all of the materials that are necessary to make new cells. This is called nutrition and requires a functional digestive system, including stomach acid, right? So this all comes back to the core and the center, y'all. In my investigation, this all comes back to the core and the center. We must deal with any toxins that destroy cells as fast as we make them. The most common toxins are heavy metals like mercury, dental toxins, and GMO foods with pesticides like Roundup and glyphosate and all of that other 12 syllable stuff that they've been speaking about, right? Shout out to KT, shout out to Yaki, and they're making those names household names now. Salute to them. Because the human body is a portable electronic device, like all electronic devices, it has to have a battery pack or multiple battery packs. The reality is we have 4 different battery packs. The largest one of all is our muscles. Our muscles are piezoelectric. For those of you who aren't physicists, that funny word piezoelectricity means that if you stress a substance and it emits electron, that's called piezoelectricity. When I move my muscles, I'm generating electrons, which is why exercise is so important, because exercise is the way that the human body is designed to recharge your own personal battery pack. Okay? The discipline that comes from working out, right, is going to give you the discipline of breathing successfully. If you are really going for the gains and working out and you catch the rhythm of what the regimen entails, you know that you can't scale it without learning how to properly breathe. Diaphragmic breathing in particular is the modality that I would best suggest that we look into to really maximize that experience in the gym, right? Because that's ultimately the way out. You know, all of this is about breathing, which is, by the way, what is the body's voltage system? The body has 4 battery packs. The muscles are rechargeable battery packs. The fascias around the muscle serve as the body's wiring systems. Our cell membranes are small batteries called capacitors. Inside the mitochondria, we have a rechargeable battery system called ATP, right? And our DNA has its own battery using scalar energy. Shout out to the brother Black Hair Bender. Okay. Cell types. This is the amount of time that it takes for regeneration, right? If you are really into the physiology of the God body, okay, and you want to get this information because you want to build up, you know, that particular body, you want to build that temple up, that temple of God. Let's understand the anatomy, right? Why nutrition is so important. Look at the turnaround process of cells. You are what you eat. So whatever you're putting in your body, picture that becoming part of your body and part of you. You feel me? Small intestine, 2 to 4 days. Stomach cells, 2 to 9 days, right? Blood, nephrophilus, 1 to 5 days. Cervix cells, 6 days. Tongue taste buds, 10 days, right? And so on and so forth. Skin epidermis cells, 10 to 30 days. Red blood cells, 4 months. Sperm, 2 months. You feel me? Skeleton, 10% of the year. Central nervous system, through a lifetime. Okay? So your central nervous system is something that is regenerating itself throughout your entire life, right? Because it's not set in stone. Ironically, it's like strings of a guitar. It can be set and reset based on how you are treating, you know, that instrument. And we'll definitely show and prove that. Human energy systems, energy in the body is available for immediate use in the form of ATP, right? Another related high energy phosphate compound. ATP may be formed from either carbohydrate, fat, or protein after those nutrients have undergone some complex biochemical changes in the body, right? ATP is when you generate that power in the mitochondria. That's what's giving your cells and your body the energy to keep working out. Okay. This shows you the amounts of calories and watts that you expend doing certain activity, right? 70 calories and 81 watts sleeping, 100 calories and 116 watts sitting, okay? Strolling, 140 kilowatts with calories with 163 watts, so on and so forth, right? Hiking, 407 watts. Swimming, 282. Mountain climbing, 698. Long distance running and sprinting, that's all the way up there. Shout out to them Kenyans. They got it all figured out. And again, it's based on people's physiologies, based on their environment. Why? Because of the what's called biogeometry. The geometry of your environment is putting pressure on your vessel. And these are the things that are making you a product of your environment. This is why even with hip hop, we are recognizing that it's regional, right? Because the people are where they are from. They become products of that environment. They coalesce the things within that ecosystem and that environment, and it becomes the flavor that seasons them. It's the same thing with the outer pressure of your environment. Hence the fact that because Kenyans and Ethiopians live in high altitude areas, right? Particularly like in the mountains, they run at long distances and they process oxygen a lot better because of the lung capacity from being at high altitudes. So you can't beat them in a race. But we're better sprinters than we are long distance runners because think about the people that are sprinters. They come from lower altitudes, right? And lower altitudes, primarily, they are developing explosion. Like the people who come from Fort Myers, Florida, know that the majority of the best NFL runners and wide receivers come from that area because of the black soil. And they are able to formulate different muscle twitch fibers in their legs because of the softness of that particular soil and also the flatness of that land, exposing them to the Lennard effect of the, the ions coming off of that water. So it's we live in these pressurized environments that are formulating our crystals or helping to formulate our crystals, who we are. The macula in your eye today is only 48 years old. In other words, you get new cells in your macula every 48 hours. Okay. So think about the concept of changing your perception. You are not locked into the same quote unquote eye cells that you had 2 or 3 days ago. So you can entertain the idea of you seeing new things because you got new cells. The lining of your gut is 3 weeks old. The skin you're sitting in today is 6 weeks old. Your liver is 8 weeks old, and your nervous system is 8 months old. We are constantly wearing ourselves out and having to make new cells. It turns out then that the chronic disease only occurs when you lose the ability to make new cells that work. So that means cells that have the proper amount of energy in them, right? For the amount of energy that you use to make a cell work, you need twice amount that energy to create a new cell. So we got to go back to the energy. And they say, where do you get the energy? From the nutrition. If that's the case, we need to ask ourselves the question, what does it take to make new cells that work? As I mentioned, it takes 25 millivolts for a cell to run, but to make a new one, it takes double that. It will take 50 millivolts. And then in addition to having a voltage to make new cells, we have to have all of the nutrients to make a new cell. So if your house gets blown down with a tornado and you have to build a new one, guess what? You have to have everything you need to make it. You can't build a new house with doorknobs and bathroom tiles. You have to have shingles and rafters and doors and windows, and say you have to have everything that it takes, right? And the body's the same way. In order to build this body back, we need all of the proper things that are needed and necessary to build this God's temple. Okay.
Talk to him, Blue.
The most common toxins we have to deal with are heavy metals like mercury, toxins coming out of our teeth. Once again, GMO and all of that good stuff, right? We need all of the materials that are necessary to make new cells. This is called nutrition and requires a functional digestive system, once again, including stomach acid. So when we get to the body and we get to the body's battery cells and how the body actually functions, the functionality of the body, I love to break things down into four. It's a lot easier for me to understand, right? So I'm going to share it with you, family, you guys. I'm going to share it to you in terms of fours, quadrants. So the body got 4 battery packs, right? The first one that we're speaking about is the muscle battery pack. Let's see how that works. Voltage from the muscle batteries go to the lateral biothermals, which are the red and the black dots, and then to the main cable that goes around the center of the body. So when in the Taoist tradition with Montauk Chia, he speaks about the microcosmic orbit, right? This is how you're moving this energy elixir, this light funnel up and down your body, regenerating the organs and giving them, distributing them the quote unquote necessary energy that's needed. Specifically with him, he speaks about ejaculation. So you can take that plasmic light energy, right, that is fully cultivated, and it now becomes like a golden serum. This is how they explain it, especially when it hits it goes from the coccyx to the top of the crown. I forgot the exact terminology, but nonetheless, once you rotate it, it becomes this golden elixir, and this is feeding your energy body. Your energy body, you have ethereal organs on your energy body as well that are getting fed, and that within turn is strengthening your internal inner organs, and that is just giving you, like I'm telling you, you have like a Superman. Oh, sound like I'm reaching again. Okay, I got receipts because I know that the people who have experienced it can back this up. You got Superman strength, and you have a glow that's coming from your body that's like a golden hue. You feel me? And your muscle tone is out of this world when you properly do ejaculation microcosmic orbit for at least 6 to 9 months. and you create that golden elixir. As the voltage goes up the back, it uses the automatic ganglia along the spine to go to every organ. Okay, the lungs, the heart, the spleen, the kidney, right? Feeding all of these vital centers, right? There's a main cable that goes around the body. That is what you are attempting to visualize yourself, right? Circumambulating and circumnavigating and sending your energy to places that need to be fed to supercharge this God body vessel of yours. We have 6 of those loops of muscle batteries that provide the 25 millivolts you need for the organs to work and the 50 millivolts needed to repair them. Chronic disease occurs when one of these muscle battery packs won't hold a charge, right? So I say it often. I say we could create a spark, but we can't hold a charge. Why is that? Because of our battery packs not being properly charged. So we're very impulsive people. We react and we respond to things, but we don't do a proper follow through. It's in direct connection and correlation to the fact that our physical body has been compromised. Okay? At this particular point, the spleen circuit connecting to the stomach circuit, this is where they got us at. This is where the light cold lockdown that the Valentine speaks on. This is the place where the scene of the crime is taking place, y'all. The stomach circuit provides power to the thinking and the motor part of the brain, the macula and cornea of the eyes, the thyroid and the parathyroids, the breast, the stomach, the male genitalia, the front of the knee, and back down to the big toe. To the big toe. That's the stomach meridian circuit. The spleen stomach circuit supplies the 25 millivolts needed for all of the organs on the circuit to work, and also the 50 millivolts needed to make new cells to keep these organs repaired. This circuit supplies the voltage for the entire reproductive system, the entire endocrine system, the thinking part of the brain, and the macula of the eye. When this battery pack cannot hold a charge, you have chronic illness in one or more of these organs, right? So let's look at the quadrants of these organs. Again, family, all of this connects to the subtle energy bodies, because if this is off, if this is disrupted, if this is not being addressed, then it's totally affecting your ability to garner, generate, and magnify this subtle energy body, where it can work on your behalf. As they say, your name precedes you, or your energy arrives before you do, or you want to impact and impress upon the world with your thoughts and your aura, even by way of personality or just through meditation. Yeah, you got to focus on this. All right. So they break it up into 4 quadrants. If you just put a cross in the center of the core of the body, then it's going to break the body vital organs up into 4 quadrants, where the right upper quadrant contains the liver, gallbladder, bile ducts, antrum, and head of pancreas, right kidney and adrenal gland, hepatic fixture, and right half of the transverse colon, of course. The epigastrum, the stomach, the duodenum, and the pancreas. The left upper quadrant is the largest part of the stomach, the spleen, left lobe of the liver, body and tail of the pancreas, left kidney and adrenal glands, splenic fixture of the colon, transverse and descending colon. Okay, that's where a lot of quote unquote waste gets stuck at when they do the colonics and things of that nature. You know, that's the part that they're hitting on. Right lower quadrant, the second, the appendix, the second, the ascending colon, right ovary and fallopian tubes, right ureter, the umbilical, aorta, pancreas, small intestines, right? And so on and so forth, family. We can screenshot this. This is the organs separated into 4 quadrants. All right. This is the book that a lot of this information is coming from, and the modality that this particular author takes. Jenny Tennant, he is a dentist, so he speaks about the teeth being voltage, quote unquote, circuits for the voltage packs as well. So when there is distinct changes to the teeth, right, the morphology of the body, these 32 particular circuit boards, it has a direct effect on the battery pack or on the battery as well. when we put metals in them, when we put certain fillings in them, when we don't take care of them. All of these things have physical effects on the body. Okay. It says it turns out that the teeth appear to function similar to the way that a lymph node does in the lymphatic system. If you have infections in your lymphatic system and it goes up the lymphatics, it gets caught and trapped in a lymph node. Emotions are trapped in the body as magnetic fields, and those magnetic fields tend to end up being trapped in the teeth. What you'll find is that the majority of chronic illness actually begins with emotional events. Let me say it one more time. The majority of chronic disease actually begins as an emotional event, and that emotion is a magnetic field that starts blocking the circuit by getting caught in one of the teeth as it does, so it begins to lower the voltage in the tooth, right? Emotions are stored in the body as magnetic fields. So let's go back to the last diagram. We said what happens in the stomach and the spleen meridian circuit, right? What chakra would that be on the chakra chart? Before it's the solar plexus, is definitely connected to the sacral, right? By way of the navel. And that's what's being impacted. You feel me? If a majority of our people have been impacted with their sacral chakra, so that sexual abuse, that is neglect, right? That's where we hold fear and things of that nature. These things that are not being addressed specifically in our community that we have now become the face of, those are the things that are shutting down our God body as well. Because when that particular chakra is impacted and affected, it messes with the person's courage. So that shuts down their sacral chakra, and then it starts tweaking with the heart. So the spleen and stomach meridian is compromised. So what happens? The thinking and motor part of the brain shot. The macula and cornea of the eye, they can't see nothing. And we wonder why. We like, damn, you couldn't see that? You can't see it coming? You don't see this? It's right in your face. Thyroid and parathyroids. Our women is the main candidates on the planet that's leading those particular categories right now. The breast, we ain't got to talk about that. The stomach, exactly. The male genitalia. Our failure to show a level of particular discipline when it comes to that. All of these things are indicative to the fact that this is the circuit that's being shut down by the fact that, again, if we were people astrologically, we would be Cancerian, which means that we're extra emotional. The front of the knee, how many people that you know be getting them knee issues? Back down to the big toe. We the only ones running. I don't hear too many other people trying to claim that they the main people that got bunions and corns. Now, let's get back to the anatomy. Every circle of DNA is a golden mean. What that means is that the diameter is 1.618 times the height and so forth. And any place in the universe where there is something that's golden mean or in the shape of platonic solids, it will cause implosion of scalar energy. Because our DNA is golden mean, the scalar implodes into it and gives it its charge so that it has the energy to do its job. So just the morphogenetic design of the quote unquote DNA itself is creating the production of scalar energy based on the fact that it's collapsing on itself. Okay. So this is the your access to this latent amount of energy that's always technically available to you. So you always have the ability to heal yourself if you can go inside and garner enough of a current, which you can do through breathing and through visualization. You can heal yourself. We have our muscles attacked. We have our muscles stacked one on top of each other in a very specific order, like stacks and batteries in a flashlight. Surrounding the stacks of muscle batteries, we have a substance called fascia, which is very much like a stocking. Fascia is that shiny stuff you see when you carve the Christmas turkey. The interesting thing about fascia is that fascia is a semiconductor. So what is a semiconductor? Semiconductor is a collection of molecules arranged in such a way that electrons move through it at the speed of light, but only in one direction. Okay? We have then this continuous stack of muscles going from our toes up to our brains, and from our fingers up to our brains are surrounded by the stocking, which serves basically as the wiring system for the body. We have then the stack of muscle batteries surrounded by the fascia, so that every organ in the body has its own battery pack. Because every organ in the body has its own battery pack, we have the ability to isolate and measure that voltage and figure out why that organ is functioning or not functioning. Stack of muscle batteries is what's been called an acupuncture meridian. Okay, we are speaking about the matrix of morphology. Okay, the matrix of morphology. The definition of morphology is the study of the form of things. So your God body, your form, your cells, your DNA, your aminos, your proteins, right? Your physical form, your teeth structure, your teeth health. All of these things go into the morphology of who you are, right? The branch of biology that deals with the form of living organisms and with relationships between their structures. So the morphology, you are a living organism. The relationship that you have to your structure is that you're being morphed and molded by your outer environment. You are a product of your environment based on the matrix of morphology, the study of the form of words, and then you're utilizing words to further create that world based on what you've been exposed to. This is how piezoelectricity works, right? So this is how your body, in terms of your skeletal structure, which is composed mostly of quartz, is generating currents and ions of electrons via movement. So think about what an NBA game looks like energetically. While we sitting there being so judgmental to people who got their melanin in motion, think about what it looks like when they're constantly jumping up and down and pounding the pavement. And we thinking about their knees and their bones. But what about the energy that's being generated from the piezoelectricity, all that latent energy, right? And especially if you're an energy vampire and nobody's even thinking about none of this, you're just sitting in the stands eating. Piezoelectricity is the electrical charge that accumulates in certain solid materials such as crystals, certain ceramics, and biological matter such as bone, DNA, and various proteins. In response to applied mechanical stress, the word piezoelectricity means electricity resulting from pressure and latent heat. So we be crying about the condition that we in, right? But our condition, our environment, our situation that we signed up for, that we find ourselves in, is the greatest condition that one can possibly be in if one came here for transmutation to get into their light body. You're going to go to where the most pressure's at. The piezoelectric effect results from the linear electromechanical interaction between. So, yeah, this is explaining the whole process of how it happens. You know what I'm saying? Think about it like this, right? Yeah, this is relatable. Piezoelectricity is exploited in a number of useful applications, such as the production and detection of sound, piezoelectric inkjet printing, generation of high voltages, electronic frequency generation, microbalances to drive an ultrasonic nozzle, and ultrafine focusing on optical assemblies. It forms the basis for a number of scientific instrumental techniques with atomic resolution, the scanning probe microscopies, right, such as STM, AFM, MTA, and SNOM, right? It also finds everyday use, such as acting as the ignition source for cigarette lighters, push start propane barbecues, used as the time reference source in quartz watches, as well as in amplification pickups for some guitars and triggers in most modern electrical drums. Okay? So these are the building blocks, right? I'm sure we all familiar, right? We often don't talk enough about the lipids and the fatty acids. These are the things that are providing the protection for the electrical charges that are taking place in our body. These are the things that are insulating those. so we can be generating 35 to 70 million volts and not burn ourselves up. It's based on this grand design right here, right? So you can fully, again, flame out, become that Dr. Manhattan version of yourself that you always really, really wanted to tap into. Okay. Again, the spleen stomach circuit is the power supply for the entire endocrine system, right? The entire reproductive system of both males and females, the macula of the eye, and the thinking part of the brain. That's everything. Okay. The body's layered like an onion. You feel me? This physical center, that ain't, that's just the physical form, the physical part of it. It has a multitude of subtle energy bodies, bands and frequencies that are connected to it. All right. Now let's think about this aspect of what fashion represents. Okay. Let's give true definition to these concepts and terms. True definitions and new definitions. Outfit, the outer layer of the largest organ, which is the outfit and outer layer of your inner self. So your largest organ is your skin, but your skin is like the outer layer of your inner self, with your inner world, your inner body. That is the you that you feel is fit enough to represent the inner private you to the outside world. That aspect of how you express yourself, especially through your inner world, is based on what? Your emotions or your feelings, or these things that are connected to your stomach spleen circuit, right? So how a person dresses almost directly reflects what they think and how they feel about themselves, right? Case in point, let's look at a brother like Michael Jackson. What was his outer expression? How did he show up with his outfit? Saint Michael is an archangel, a spiritual warrior in a battle of good versus evil. So the actual archangel Michael is the military motif, right? He is the archangel that's over the legions. And the legions are the quote unquote army of Christ, the angelic army that has to come and fight during times of tribulation, that inaugurates this whole concept of the second coming and all of that, right? It has to be preceded by Michael before quote unquote Jesus comes. That's according to the narrative and the mythos and the script. So here he goes, right? Activating fully in his purpose, standing on business and principles, where he is what? When he dresses as military, he is seen and respected as military, right? So when we make an observation of somebody in their outfit or their uniform, you and I form a bond, because I'm looking at you and I'm doing what I'm told not to do, which is judging the book by its cover. I have no choice, because they said that you only make a first impression, you don't get a chance to make a second one. So how can I not judge, right? But it's a trick, because how can I possibly know? You can be cloaked. I don't know. I can't know enough about you by looking at your uniform, but nonetheless, in a split second, you and I form a bond, because I'm making this observation, and this observation obviously is being a judgment. I'm weighing out, again, to self-preserve whether it's even safe or not. If I see somebody that looks a particular way and I want to cross the street, and this has happened to me on multiple times, and they be like, Pill, y'all love your stuff, man. I watch everything. And I'll be like, man, you cannot judge. You can't make a judgment. You don't know. It's a trick. But you also have to be able to discern. So what's the definition of uniform? It says remaining the same in all cases and at all times, unchanged in form or character. So remaining uniform, right? Remaining the same. That's one definition. Denoting a garment forming part of a person's uniform, right? The noun version of it, the distinctive clothing worn by members of the same organization or body, or by children attending certain schools. So uniformity amongst the uniform, right? So they say that, like in the streets, they'd be like, there's a felony look. What is that? Baggy jeans, a white tee with a baseball cap. So you got a felony look. They're gonna stop and frisk you. You know what I'm saying? There's a uniformity across a uniform look. But once again, that person is looking at that person's outer expression or the outer shell, and they're making a judgment call. You feel me? They're utilizing their particular macular nerve that more than likely has been interrupted by their stomach and spleen circuit shutdown to make a judgment call that's inaccurate, because you just don't possibly know what you're looking at just by looking at a person and judging them from the outside looking in, especially when we see everything upside down to begin with. We have a lot of nerve. That was a double entendre with the optic nerve. Anyway,
I get it. I
so
get
this is
it.
the weighing ceremony that we're engaged in. Shout out to Sister Jewel Pulcrum. She's the one who helped free me from the prison planet of judgment. She said it's impossible for you to judge because ye know not. You're living your entire life attempting to get to know yourself. But I'm taking a second out of me seeing somebody that got spikes on and I know something about them. I attempt to think that I know enough about this person to judge something about them that I can't possibly know. No, I'm falling into the trap. Right? And that weighing, that's what I'm saying. These are the aspects of the little bit of change that you put in your pocket that weighs your pocket down when you start making judgments, especially if you make a false judgment. So it's better to make no judgments, because you get to that weighing of the heart ceremony and a few pennies might put you over or put you under. And you like, damn, you counting that too? Yeah, that was judging. So, back to the judgment scene and everything, the eye with the crystals in it, right? So let's speak about this. This is Spain, which is the what was the exact, it's an acronym for this word. Negative scale of emotion. Damn, I can't believe that I don't remember the acronym. But the Spain scale of emotions is dealing with weighing out positive and negative emotions, right? And they have developed a way to measure emotions in the body, right? And which one is negative and which one is positive, right? The scale of positive and negative emotions, which Spain stands for, right? Scale of positive and negative emotions, scale of emotions. And they said love is not the strongest frequency. They said authenticity is the strongest frequency, is 4,000 times stronger than love, right? So when you are being your authentic, genuine self, and when you're stepping in the name of love, and when you're stepping outside confidently, and you got your drip on, and they're like, you got that shit on, and you know that it's part of your particular outfit, your wardrobe, your expression, right? 4,000 times stronger than love, authenticity, right? So let's talk about the fabrics. Let's talk about the outer garments that we then do choose to put on our quote unquote outer selves, or the things that are covering the clothing itself becomes a part of our subtle energy body, or the outer bands of our outer body. And now we're learning from science that what we put on our body can shut down our energy fields. It can neutralize us. It can be our kryptonite as well, right? So what fabrics have a high frequency? Okay, linen and wool. All right, Dr. Yellen is the one who comes up with this information, and she did the research based on the question that you asked last week, Brother Rich. She said, what did the Bible say about garments? And she wanted to know why the Bible said don't mix linen and wool, right? So she went and did a deep dive, and she found out what they actually were saying throughout the book about linen, and it was the highest of honors that they were given. It was almost itself equated to God itself, or the purity, the light of God, right? It was like yeah. Let's get into it. So she found that linen and wool both had a frequency of 5,000. It was arranged in angstrom, but it was measured in megahertz, I believe, right? That's a whole lot of frequency boosting power. Strangely, when the body wore both linen and wool at the same time, the frequency went to zero. This was the reference in the Torah that sparked the entire study. It says, do not wear linen with wool, right? What is the frequency of organic cotton? Organic cotton registers to around 100, which is what the body registers at, right? Body's like 100 megahertz, right? Pretty much in tune with the human body. However, organic cotton matters. Standard bleach cotton measures to 40. Shockingly, the frequency of silk measures to 10, right? Because they said that there's a lot of chemical processes to go into doing what needs to be done to make silk what it is today. It's not the way that they did it back in the day. Rayon registers at 15. Polyester, acrylic, spandex, lycra, viscose, and nylon measure at 0, right? It said, yes, that right, a solid 0, right? And these fabrics are truly dreadful for the environment, you know what I'm saying? And they talk about a whole bunch of other crazy stuff about them. And then they say, what about hemp? And a lot of people are just hypothetically theorizing about hemp. Hemp wasn't part of the actual study or the research, but they're making obvious comparisons. And they're saying, well, if linen does this, then hemp has to do this, and even better because of what hemp is and what it represents, right? Like linen, hemp carries no static charge, meaning it's literally grounding to wear it. Linen is strong, but hemp is even stronger. Hemp is the most durable of the natural fibers, 3.3 times more durable than cotton. The extended life of hemp means that if everyone wore it, we can reduce by 1/3 the resources needed to clothe the entire planet. Linen is UV resistant. Hemp is UV resistant. Linen is bacteria mold resistant. Hemp is the same, right? Hemp is green. It's also carbon negative, right? It's the strongest natural fiber. It's pesticide free. It grows fast, and it also enriches any soil that it grows in. And it's been used for multitudes of thousands of years. So rather than, drawing comparisons, I would just say look into them both. You know what I'm saying? But know which ones to wear, outside of wearing both of them together. You got to research that on your own. All right. They also advocate for linen sheets. You know what I'm saying? Hence the fact that they call them linens, right? Remember the store linen and things and all of that? And they call, when you go in the hospital, they call bedding linens. This is the reason. That's what they initially used. They use linen to make gauze, because gauze, it helps the wounds heal quicker. It's a living fiber. You feel me? We get into this whole aspect of the Shroud of Turin, what they said that they even buried Jesus in. That was linen. You know what I'm saying? And all through the Bible, like I said, they just speak, of the highest regards of it, right? And then they have an aspect of it called fine linen. That's the stuff that comes out of Kemet that they made for royalties and dignitaries. That's the silky looking linen. The Africans are making some linen like that to this day. Shout out to them. Okay. What are the 8 kinds of linen in the Old Testament? It's all through the book, and it's called a robe of light, right? It was a symbolic significance as a representation of purity and called it woven moonlight. They consider linen to be a symbol of purity and light. In addition, for its uses in mummification, linen was also used as a form of currency. Okay. And it comes from the flax, which is a seed. So the reason that they may have said don't mix linen with wool is because linen comes from a plant and wool comes from an animal that had to be sacrificed in order to get it. So it cannot be pure. You can't mix impurity with purity. But then one asks itself, they said that God comes back with a head full of wool, but he was wearing linen. The relevant biblical verses, Leviticus 19:19 and Deuteronomy 22:11, prohibit wearing wool and linen fabrics in one garment. The blending of different species of animals and the planting together of different kinds of seeds, right? They don't play that. This is a whole scriptural breakdown, you feel me, of, again, linen all throughout the Bible in different passages. Almost everywhere what they mentioned it, they show how linen takes a prominent role. It's almost like it's almost like a character onto itself within the book. Feel me? Linen weavers were known to Moses days before the entrance into Canaan and were considered a gift of God to the people. So linen officially, initially was made in Kemet, and then they transferred it and they brought it over to like in the Galilee section where Jordan and stuff was at. And they started making for Hebrews, and then they said that they finessed. They became better linen makers than the commission. You know, all of that rivalry stuff they be into. This is the instrument that they utilize to measure the fabrics, right? Just to show that it's not quack science. There was actual a methodology that was used to garner this particular measurement of frequency to show what the fabrics is hitting for versus what they not. And I don't want to knock nobody's hustle. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people that are clothiers out there and they do their thing. But we just gotta be informed about what the truth, what's right and what's right, what the truth is, and hopefully we can all, make the adjustments that's needed and necessary to eventually get to a place where we afford ourselves the highest quality, especially if we're aspirational as a people and we move for foreign design of this and all types of shit that people tell us, are valuable. Well, this stuff is actually functional. You know what I'm saying? It's actually functional and it's in alignment with the life that we say that we want to lead and the people that we want to become. So, yeah, linen. Polyester prison. Okay? Let's talk about it. Pushing P. Right? They out here pushing polyester. You feel me? And as a result of them pushing polyester, you out here pushing plastic because they done found plastic all in the testes. How you think you gonna put plastic outside of your body and then it not have no effect on plastic inside of your body, right? And every time that they introduce us to plastic, they show drastic spikes in trends globally, right? Since the 1960s, after they introduced us to the plastic soles in shoes, there has been a global decline of fertility, right? But here you go. Nearly all states sustain large fertility rate decline. So this is all of the states in the U.S. Majority of the ones you see where they hot at, I guess where they put on sunscreen and stuff like that. Yeah, all of them places, fertility rates is the lowest. Arizona, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico. That's right there. That's called the Four Corners. That's the Four Corner Empire. That's a place in the West where people are melanin deficient don't belong nowhere over there. Arizona's like 120 degrees right now. Make it make sense. Right? So you got to put on sunscreen. You got to put this on. You got to put that on. You feel me? It's Arizona, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, California, Oregon, Nevada, Idaho, Texas, Georgia, Wyoming. Yeah, it's everybody's going through it. Right? These rates reflect births per 1,000 women ages 15 to 44. All right. So, as you can see, the only countries that are having a positive fertility rate that are on the upswing are mainly countries that you find on the continent: Nigeria, Senegal, Ghana. Shout out to Niger and shout out to Pakistan. They're on the upswing. You know what I'm saying? They're on the upswing out there. I don't know if maybe they still, yeah, they these are regions actually where they wear the linen, because this is where I be getting some of my linen from, my African tailors and artisans from Ghana specifically, Nigeria specifically, Senegal. They always, you see them brothers, they got loose fitting clothes on or what have you. And Niger, these regions will be the parts of the continent where you would expect to see brothers in high quality fabrics, not synthetics. Right? Not synthetics. South Korea and the US and Mexico, South Korea and the US specifically, as well as China, the main buyers and suppliers of fashion, of foreign drip, of designer drip. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff is synthetic. Look at the hair wig market trends, right? We want to speak about synthetics that we put on the body and we put on the feet. What about the synthetics that's going in the hair? Okay? Can't ignore that either. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Look at what sort of change they turning over out here. The artificial hair integration. Oh man, you know, this speaks directly to the stomach and spleen circuit shutdown, right? The frontal lobe. You know what I mean? You want to put the lace front on the frontal lobe, and it's slowly killing us. You know, the artificial hair integration market is estimated at 1.9 billion in 2023, projected to reach 3.9 billion by 2033, and 2020 and yeah, it's continuously growing. Right? Look, they say artificial hair integration is very commonly suggested by fashion professionals and trichology, as it is very helpful maintaining hair density along with hiding split ends. Hair loss owing to medical illnesses and hormones causes full or partial baldness nowadays, leaving people self-conscious about their appearance. As a result, the demand for hair integration has risen fast. The growing popularity of multicolored hair wigs amongst the celebrity and artists is likely to offer new artificial hair integration market growth opportunities. Amongst the men who lose their hair, inevitably feel self-conscious about their looks and may lack confidence when socializing. Fake hair not only solved the problem for hair loss, but also solved the issue of gray hair, baldness, and other male hair issue. Hair pieces can help men cover their natural hair volume and make their hair appear thicker, giving them a more attractive appearance and increasing their confidence when socializing or performing their jobs. Okay? Not aesthetic nihilism, aesthetic nylonism. Okay? Look at the bonds. You feel me? That I'm talking about when I say you and I form a bond. Look at these bonds that are being formed. These are literally light code lockdown configurations in terms of the bonds that the people are putting on their body. Look at nylon. Or look at polyester. Right? It looks like jail bars. That's why it's a polyester prison. And your swimmers can't breathe. Think about when you suffocate and put plastic on somebody's face. That's what you're doing right there. God damn, they got us. You know what I'm saying? And the Gucci flip-flops. Hold on. All of this coming from DuPont. Okay? We did an amazing presentation on this platform a few years ago when we were speaking about the Rockefeller medicine men, and we spoke about DuPont's role in petrochemicals, how Rockefeller and DuPont changed the face of the planet and the world forever, how they not only declare war on Mama Earth, but they also declare war on Big Mama, because Big Mama, with the unprecedented accounts of we are in cancer season, and Big Mama has been a leading candidate for different forms of cancer, and that's directly connected to petrochemicals, right? To Big Mama being exposed to the chemicals. From the fact that when we got ran off the land and we became city slickers and city dwellers and we migrated north, you know what I'm saying? We got locked into this current where we abandoned the food from the farm and we started going to the stores and the supermarkets. That's when we introduced our bodies to bioweaponry. You feel me? And that's where the attack actually started sticking and becoming effective. And we are now living in the remnants of a multi-generational campaign to destroy the melanated body by way of making its subtle energy body, what should I say, susceptible to addictions to toxins. You feel me? Because as much as they tell us what they do and how they do it, we still line up. We got to buy this stuff. We got to put this stuff on our bodies and in our bodies. And regardless of how much we know about what took place, we still participate. And they went so far to call it the polymer nylon 66, polymer 66. You know, they just one short of 6 from showing you that they obviously know that there was a light cone lockdown. It was made by a dude from IG Farben. IG farming is where they made the particular, the quote unquote gas that they used in them chambers. Feel me? So all of this comes from these people dealing with these chemicals, dealing with these poisons. And these people have been responsible from day one, from introducing the petrochemicals and the plastics all the way back then as byproducts of the oil, which is the blood of the planet, which is carbon based. So the plastics that they're showing and giving you are looking like, you know, like bonds that are locked, that are almost like hexagonal as well because they're carbon based. So they're gonna lock you in a cube. They're locking you in a prison. So they said the etymology of the word nylon. This is interesting. It tells you some evidence right here. They say DuPont went through an extensive process to generate names for its new product. Okay. John W. Ecclebury of DuPont states that the letters NYL were arbitrary and the own was copied from the suffixes of other fibers such as cotton or rayon. The later publication by DuPont explained that the name was originally intended to be no run meaning unravel, but was modified to avoid making such unjustified claim. Since the products were not really run proof, the vowels were swapped to produce neuron, which was changed to nylon to make it sound like a nerve toxin, or no, they said a nerve tonic. For clarity and pronunciation, the I was changed to Y. A persistent urban legend exists that the name is derived from New York and London. However, no organization in London was ever involved in the research and production of nylon. Hmm. Hmm. So, overall production of synthetic fibers, however, dropped from 63% of the world's textile production in 65 to 45% of the world's textile production in the early 90s. The appeal of new technologies wore off and nylon's fabric was going out of style in the 70s. Also, consumers became concerned about environmental costs throughout the production cycle, obtaining the raw materials, oil, energy used during production, waste produced during creation of the fiber, and eventually waste disposal of materials that were not biodegradable. Synthetic fibers have not dominated the market since the 1950s and the 60s. As of 2020, the worldwide production of nylon is estimated at 8.9 million tons. You know, so again, these are some of the properties just to further show you, you know what I'm saying, this particular bond is taking place and how dangerous potentially these fibers can be on your body. And again, they just telling you about the people who created this stuff. And nylon 6 and 6 fibers are used in carpet manufacture. I mean, and they out here just playing in our face. Right? Nylon was used to make tires, tents, ropes, ponchos, and other military supplies. It was also used in the production of a high grade paper for US currency. And outside of the war, cotton accounted for more than 80% of all fibers used in manufacturing, and wool fibers accounted for nearly all of the rest. By August 1945, manufactured fibers had taken a market share of 25% at the expense of cotton. After the war, because of shortages of both silk and nylon parachute material was sometimes repurposed to make dresses. Right? Shout out to MIA. Mia, I see that she just launched a functional fashion company as well, and a clothing line that speaks specifically to protecting against 5G and EMF. Right? So your fashion can definitely be functional. She showed up right in time with the perfect example showing us how it can be done. She got tinfoil hat clothing line, right? What a way to tap into the algorithm. 100% brain coverage blocks 99.9% of Wi-Fi, 4G, and 5G from reaching your brain. Made with pure copper and nickel Faraday fabric, reversible two-tone design. It's excellent. She bodied it, right? She won a buck for the hat. Secret Faraday cage inner pocket to take you 100% incognito, untrackable, and unhackable. So this is a data protection dump bag that she's also offering. 100% lined with pure copper metal. right? In a time of smart cities, digital crypto, AI, Neuralink, hackable humans, zero privacy, deep mind, internal body, data harvesting, and indiscriminate tracking surveillance, mind data mining, social media overload, augmented reality, social credit system, virtual dystopian minefield, we bring you the revolutionary future of fashion. Omni is your latest frontier, persevering your privacy, autonomy, and rights over your body and your data. This is not your artist foray into fashion. This is a necessity. Okay? Talk that talk, right? So they're utilizing as well with this unique atomic structure. These tight fitting potency boxer shorts are made using a luxurious silky four-way stretch fabric containing 80% pure silver to protect you and your future generations. With this unique atomic structure, silver offers exceptional electrical conductivity, deflecting electromagnetic waves such as Wi-Fi and 5G with up to 99.999% shielding effectiveness. Our original silver street shield textiles protects you from the numerous risks linked to electromagnetic radiation, restoring your autonomy and freedom every now handmade, right? And yeah, I want to give a shout out to Snoop Dogg for running the 34.44. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what his nutrition is. I don't know what type of garments he got on him, on his body, but you know what I'm saying? He ran that as a 52-year-old. You know, Unc put some numbers on the board. So let's leave us with this.
You have to stop ejaculation. If the person access ejaculation, they drain themselves to one level, they have impotent 10 day, 15 day, or 1 month, no ejaculation. And you have to learn how to make love, and you don't have the ejaculation every time. And that is the key. And when we make love, the body only know that, oh, they want to have baby. So the first thing we call gland system keep energy. We call arousal. So every gland system keep their energy to combine to make arousal. And orgasm is organ give the best energy combined together. It's the perfect energy. But we're not going to have baby every time, but the body don't know. When you understand this one, you learn how to bring the sexual energy upward. Because return the sexual energy to revitalize the brain and the organs.
Mm-hmm. Right? Energy and synergy. That's how you formulate that God body and go Super Saiyan out here, family. And with that, that culminates my presentation of the subtle energy body. And with an emphasis on what the brother left us with, you know, understand what your energy is, understand where your energy is, and understand the process that your body has to go through to generate, that life elixir. You know what I mean? So, brothers specifically, especially with these minefields that are out here, like porn. You know what I mean? You got to be very careful of how you are utilizing your life force energy and what you are giving it up to. These things are creating schisms in your auric field and holes and gaps and what have you, and it's weakening your organs and pretty much making your subtle body susceptible to be, walked in by a host possibly. You feel me? So be very mindful and be
Indeed.
very careful of overindulgence. You know what I'm saying? And chasing sensation and pleasure.
Mhm.
You feel me? Discipline is a lot more rewarding. We are living amongst the time where the rewards for righteousness are definitely, showing themselves. So please, young brothers, take note.
Yo,
With that,
Blue, man, they love this so much. They like New Diamond said, Cash App, please. Food was so good, gotta leave a tip. They like,
oh,
listen,
yeah.
man, you fed them good. They want to leave a tip. What's your Cash App, Blue?
It's $ Blue Pillar 44, and this is family. This is I got a hemp. This is hemp hat. You know what I'm saying? So this is just to show you some of this the hemp products that we could work with. Of course, you know what I'm saying? I got that linen on. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, definitely. Man, wow, yeah, that was a good one, Bloom. That was a powerful one, my brother.
uh,
You really took it there.
'cause, I really want to get back into the breathing thing that we did before. And
Yeah,
shout out to my brother Just B. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really, at the end of the day, we got to get back to the actual practical applications of how do we garner and generate, what I'm saying, this breathing. And even when I get in that Discord, we're gonna have them brothers doing 500 push-ups, and
mm-hmm. Yeah, mm-hmm.
we're gonna get busy. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, this information I just be wanting to. It's yeah, it gives me a lot of energy. I get very excited.
Blue, let me ask you this, Blue. A lot of times people only believe what they see and they hear about the aura, the energy body, and it will be so much more realer if they could see it. And we know certain people have the ability to see auric fields. Is there anything that you read of, any exercises in a book that you know, or so you know somebody else does that strengthens their eyesight for seeing energy, auras, and things like that?
Absolutely, yeah. The stuff that Akibalon and KT be on with sun gazing.
So the
You feel
sun
me?
gazing is good for that.
That's gonna strengthen the cornea, and because when you come out of an intense sun gazing experience, you start seeing the auric field on plants.
Yeah.
You start seeing auric field on cars.
Mm, mm.
Everything got an auric field because there's no thing that's inanimate. Everything is animated. Everything has aspect of the spirit in it. You feel me?
Mm,
There's a spark of creation that exists in all things. And any spark is it emanates a frequency and a light.
mm.
But yeah, there's ways to build up your ability to perceive, and then some people have that naturally. And again, I really want to overemphasize the fact that we spoke about a modality, we spoke about access to that modality, but we also spoke about what the barriers of that are. And through my research and my belief, I'm highly convinced again that it deals with directly addressing sacral chakra issues. And I remember when me and you did the 7 day the 7 day Kundalini workshop, and the
Mm,
sacral chakra was the hardest one to get to, and I was tapping into the audience. And even for myself, I had to go back and just revisit and reinvestigate why was those blocks there. And that's the thing that people, for the most part, are ignoring, especially if we are encountering so many people amongst our community that said that they have experienced some form or another of abuse. I don't know. I don't even know if I can say that on a thing these days, but
mm.
abuse, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if it's not being properly dealt with, that's not something that you can just push to the side, because it's going to show up. It's going to short circuit your stomach and spleen circuit, and that's going to affect how you see the world, make decisions, see yourself in the world, think about yourself in the world, your identity, your courage, your confidence, and everything else. And that's just going to make people susceptible to just be feasted on by energy vampires of every order through every principality. You
Mm,
feel me?
Right. Right.
And
Let
because
me.
when you see these people that are indiscriminately out here feasting on people these days, they're playing hosts. Their subtle bodies playing hosts to whole different type of entities and energies.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's facts. Let me ask you this about the body, our energetic holographic body that we are learning is energy and not physical, not matter. The holographic body that we have in this realm, is it the same holographic body that we take to the dream world when we go to sleep at night? Are these the same bodies, or are these different holographic bodies?
I mean, again, there's some disciplines that say that when you are in the dream realm, you're in your actual avatar. You know what I'm saying? This hologram is where the projection is taking place.
Mhm.
You know, we are tethered to those bodies, but that's not the same body. You know what I'm saying? Some people would say that that's an ethereal body that we utilize to engage on astral realms. You can't do that physically with a physical body, but there's an energy signature or frequency. Very few people see themselves, right? It's like you have in the first person. So you're not physically seeing yourself per se, but you are experiencing things that appear to be very real, especially, you know, with the level of lucidness that you are engaged in. So I've been on gold for so long that, like, you can ask the people in the audience, just ask a random question, like, how many people have seen Blue Pillar in their dreams in the dream realm? You know what I'm saying? I could be in multiple dreams at once. I can't do that with a physical body. You know what I'm saying? So the dream body is non-temporal, it's non-corporal, and it allows us to be in our multiverse simultaneously. I think that I'm engaged in all of those things in all of them places at the same time.
Excellent. You know, you brought up Bruce Lipton earlier. Yeah.
But I do think that it's physically affected by my endocrine system based on if I eat something crazy at night before I go to sleep, I'm going to have a different type of dream. So what does that tell me? That the chemicals are affecting my endocrine system, and that secretion, right, is affecting how I am engaging in this quote unquote astral realm, which is really turning me inside out.
Okay. You mentioned Bruce Lipton earlier, Blue, and one of the ways he describes who we are, he uses a television set as an analogy to describe who we are, saying that, you know, our bodies is a television set and we are the broadcast. We're not the television set, we're the broadcast that can occupy body after body after body after body. So he talks about us being the broadcast. Just to, and maybe I already answered in by saying that, but just so people could further understand what he's saying, if we are television, is that the same thing that saying who's the cable company? You know how we got Time Warner, or we got a cable company that provides our electricity to our TV.
Yeah.
Who's the cosmic cable company if we're television? Who would you call the cosmic cable company that provides the electricity?
The cosmic cable company, right, is based on a person's particular preference and perception. So if my nana grew up in the church, her channel is going to be CNN, Christian National.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? Somebody that's watching Al Jazeera, that's not going to spill into, because Nanny's controlling her direct TV now. She like, I got 500 channels, but all of them is on Jesus.
That's facts.
So yeah, so if you're going to tune your frequency, right, and you're going to base that tuning of the frequency is going to, for the most part, magnetize the TV guide that's perfect for you based on where you at, until there's a need for a shakeup to put you in an uncomfortable place, to expose you to some things that you didn't even anticipate for. And you like, what's this channel? You trying to skip through, you catch a Bobby and you can't get off of it.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. That's why there is a spiritual component to this internet. There's a ghost in the machine. I don't care what nobody say. Because Bobby will pop up and play for me from the spirit realm. He'll have conversations about things that I need to hear in the then and that, or stuff that's going on in the real world. Like right now, it'll just randomly pop up on, and I'm like, Laya Cohen didn't program that. I ain't giving that to them. You know what I'm saying? There had to be some aspect to the algorithm that the spirit knew it was time to play that, because it always happens at the right time. So I have a tendency to think that that's called bandwidth frequency. My broadband or my bandwidth, right? My subtle energy body knows exactly what my physical body, by way of the mind, which is the place where all of these places kind of meet and conjoin at. yo, we need to give him some of this medicine. We need to give him this reminder. We need to fill in this blank. He's doing research for this lecture. Let's give him some pointers and some tips. Let's put
Right.
this in front of him. My
Right.
energy body goes out and gets that because it's like Memorex. It exists in it exists. This is what exists in the morphogenetic field and grid by way of like, remember the Maxell commercial when he put the headphones on and he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
It's
on
old school.
Memorex. It's old school. Yeah. But
Oh man.
that's how I explain that, you know.
Yeah, nah. This is this is excellent stuff. Let me take about two questions from the
Please.
chat before we get out here. And before I take about two questions, make sure y'all hit up the brother Blue Pillars Cash App for providing us with that amazing presentation tonight. Definitely
Yeah.
something that we all gonna have to rewind and watch again. But make sure you show the brother some love for putting that together for the family tonight.
And as a reminder, yeah, me and Red got something coming up uh with Vicky on Sunday, but we'll get to that.
Vicky gonna be on the channel tomorrow. I got Vicky tomorrow,
Oh,
y'all. Yeah, Vicky. Yeah, Vicky Dillard
Vicky's a
will be
legend.
on tomorrow night.
Vicky's a legend.
And
Yes.
they got
Tremendous.
the debate. Everybody
Uh,
watching that shit is it's gonna be the best shit show that you could ever see. So how you watching that?
yeah, family, protect your subtle energy body. That's all I got to say.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Let's get
Because
to
yeah,
yeah. Let me see. Okay, where's I seen? I think New Diamonds had a question. Where New Diamonds? Did you have a question? I thought I seen. Hold up. I know I'm not bugging out. I don't know what are you. Damn family, I seen a
oh,
question that I don't need to interview. Uh oh shit. Yeah, I was supposed to tell y'all something tonight about the hotels. I will tell y'all give me another day. When the live stream tickets go on sale, give me the Friday. And I'm gonna tell y'all, David, about the hotels. I got a hotel for anybody's coming through. I'm gonna have all additional information on Friday. Okay, here we go. All right, New Diamonds. Yeah.
yeah.
What's your take on this black hole activation?
Again, you know, I have a very unique approach towards the black hole. When I keep, I've made a lot of correlations with Big and the black hole on numerous occasions over many years. So when I told people that Big was coming back and this was going to be his year, and I see the black hole activation, to me and my mental mythos, it's just the return of Big, and we obviously see through the timeline that his conversation is very fresh, and they're resurrecting him. They're speaking about him again, and I think we're going to see some major breakthroughs coming this year dealing with him. He represents the biggest blackest matter. He's carbon. He went diamond, and diamond is compressed carbon. And his 3-year run of compression in hip hop still reverberates. And it again, we have a tendency to minimize people and think that they don't have such a big role in our lives. This nigga is like we live in his dream. It's not vice versa. You feel me? And if you didn't, then you wouldn't be, as a society, they wouldn't be so enthralled and enraptured with with Diddy's going through today. That's the remnants of the work put in by Big in a 3-year span. So that's my analysis dealing with the big hole activation. Is directly going to be tied to the big hole, the black hole at the center of the universe, which is Sagittarius A, and you're going to see more breakthroughs dealing with Big and these big holes.
All right. Let's get to okay, Blue, how would you go about tuning back into the Astros, these demons, how would one go about keeping them out of their energy fields?
Again, you know, the things that you need to do going into these particular dimensions, right, is raising up your frequency, making sure that you are not only protected, but your projection, that white cosmic energy light, right, that your senses are fully active and they're operating and spinning in conjunction with one another. So the shield and the field that you're generating can protect you from ethereal demonic vampires, right? So you got to be cheat up. You know what I'm saying? You have to be disciplined. You can't have these gaps and holes in your auric field, right? You have to be, ready and prepared when you go on the battlefield to do battle.
Indeed, indeed. All right, let's get to another one. Can we also be? Can we also be? Um, what have you noticed strange after the eclipse?
Um, it's definitely a higher level of aggression. People are spellbound a lot more. There's a lot more susceptibility to walk-ins. People are hosting all sorts of entities. They're skitzing out, they're spazzing out, they're accelerating their manic their manic state. I think that the Jabba juice must have got activated, right? But I'm also seeing the expansion of light. I'm seeing a lot of things being returned to indigenous people. I'm seeing right things being returned to the wrong indigenous people. It's so it's always a counterbalance. You know what I'm saying? There's a resounding beauty. There was a bunch of prophecies that have been fulfilled since the eclipse, such as the birth of the white buffalo and Yellowstone, right? So there's many things that are happening. The weather conditions are amplifying. The things that we saw happen during the last eclipse 7 years ago, we're seeing the reverse of those things take place now. Um, so we're witnessing the wigging out of the world. You know what I'm saying? Is going is bat is crazy. So
Right,
again, protect your subtle energy fields. That, remember, you're susceptible to what you take in by your eyes and your mouth and your ears. You eat all three different ways. So you have to be very, very much protective of what you entertain and engage in, what you find yourself laughing at. Like, save your daughters from sexy red. Like, it's just
oh man, shit. Oh man. Whew. Man, it's getting bad. It just keep getting worse. Man, shit. Mm.
it's going down, y'all. But glory be to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Put that white linen on, get outside and ground, like demonstrate, do these things that we're speaking about, and not don't just be entertained by the words that we say. Utilize it as an active principle to activate your God body. You know what I'm saying? To fire up this light body that you got. Tap into these frequencies. Know that it's real. And once you know that it's real, once you get a taste of it, you're not gonna go back to mundaneness and normalcy. You know what I'm saying? But you got to get active right now. You got to get outside. We outside. It's all the way up. So
Facts. Amen. Amen. With that, Blue. Yeah, Nisa 1971 said instant classic. Yeah, man. Yeah, this is
yeah.
this is one of the
So
ones.
yeah, let me say this, and it's conjoined with what you said. I don't have a full announcement for the people at this moment. I'm going to dialogue with you, and you'll share the information with them. But I have been continuing this conversation with the brother, Dr. Supreme Understanding, who has the land, because I got a resounding response to that, and
Oh, I
people
could
were very
imagine.
much engaged and entertained. They were much engaged with that offering about being able to sleep outside. I'm over concerned with people's safety and security, so I'm just making sure that everything is where it needs to be in order to make sure that they have the easiest, smoothest experience, because it's the woods, and I don't, you
Right.
know what I mean. And a lot of sisters responded, and I salute them. You know what I mean? Because again, they outside, they active, they ready to engage. I just need to make sure in my heart that, you know, everything is put in place just to make sure that they are the safest level of safe. So I will yeah, I will consult with you and get them information that they need, you know, because like you said, in terms of with the hotel, the brother got access as well to some Airbnbs, and I'm gonna get you all that information for them.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you tomorrow. I'm actually going by the spot tomorrow. I gotta talk to Jefferson and some of the people at the spot tomorrow to talk to them about renting out the room for the after party. I think it's the ballroom. We're trying to rent out the
Pink
ballroom.
Lion, yeah.
Yeah. Not that there's another one, not the Pink Lion. There's another
Okay,
one. Yeah, there's another
okay.
one.
And
That we
you
huh?
know the elder may transition as well.
I
Um,
heard they told me. Yeah,
yeah,
that's wild.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we wanna definitely, you know, have a moment of silence and acknowledge this brother who is a billionaire, real
Yeah.
estate developer, and serial entrepreneur, an elder amongst our people, who so loved our people and our history and our legacy that, you know, he put that thing together. So for Mr. Allen, yes, rest in peace to Mr. Allen. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
A small man with a big heart. You know what I mean? Who did gigantic things. You know what I'm saying? In the state of Georgia, city of Atlanta.
Indeed. Yeah, we're
So
gonna turn up. We're gonna make good use of what he started. And we're gonna make history on August 10th and 11th. Like I said, I'm gonna have more information on Friday because I'm going by the spot tomorrow on to talk to them, y'all. And online tickets will go on sale Friday. I'll talk to Blue. We'll have more information about hotels and for those who are choosing to be outside. So yeah. FBI. So yeah, Blue, leave your let me get rid of a couple of trolls. Leave your information for the family. And once again, oh, don't forget, y'all, Vicky Dilla gonna be on tomorrow night. It's
yes,
gonna be fire. Y'all know
yes,
when
yes,
she's
yes,
on, it's absolute fire. So
absolutely.
come through tomorrow night at 9 for Vicky Dillard. Go ahead, Blue. What you want
Yes,
to leave?
family. Eventbrite is called Winning Room 24, the Jason months. If Red is in here, can you drop a link, Red? I don't know why I ain't shoot you a link, but that's what we doing this Sunday, June 30th with Vicky. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be monumental. That's the 7th year anniversary of 444 release, actually. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? So um it's gonna be amazing though. You know what I'm saying? That the universe is really conspiring for our success with this lecture because it's giving us a lot of content.
excellent. Excellent.
So
All right.
yeah, family, check us out. Blue Pillar 44 on Instagram. If you still need to click on the link to the bio for that particular lecture, and if it's not available here, you could come to my page and click the link. I'm sure that we'll have the link tomorrow with Vicky, but definitely tap in, y'all. This is going to be monumental. It's going to be historic, and we had to do it. You know what I'm saying, with the divine feminine principle to bring that balance.
Oh
All
yeah.
right.
Oh yeah. Hey, with that being said, family, thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow night, Blue. Thanks a lot, my brother. Peace.
Peace.